Okay, welcome back. You see this picture? What is it? It's a magnet. So, why do I put this? Find your magnet. Every country has its own local characteristics or something you think that, oh, I think this is very special in the world. So you can probably use this as the magnet to get people to come to your country to spend their money, which is good to kind of like to stimulate your economy. So now I just give you some general idea of what other countries has done to, and then you can see how amazing or how much money they can make out of this. First of all, World Heritage Sites. So you can see the picture on the left hand side. You know where this is? Machu Picchu. So tourists visiting the Inca cathedral of Machu Picchu in Peru's southeastern Cusco region. It generates annual revenues of around 100 million soles, which equals to 35.9 million. That is a lot of money, simply because there is one place called Machu Picchu, and people they rush to that place. Not just Machu Picchu, but the whole Cusco region. Because of that, people go there to spend money, and then you can connect to the earlier we talked about once people show up. It's good for accommodation, transportation, F&B, the food and restaurant is all together because of that. 35.5 million. Wow, that's for 1 year. Very important. Another example on the right hand side was in Rome. So this is considered the most visited museum in Italy in 2019, and it generated alone the significant figure of 57.5 million euros in a selected year. So that is also a lot of money because of this World Heritage Site. And you know, if you Google World Heritage Site, you can see a list. Okay, what are listed in there? So if possible, if you have one, and then that will be definitely the thing that you need to promote in order for people to. Some people, you know, they like to collect stamps or collect Lego. Some people they like to collect World Heritage Sites, and that will be your biggest strength. The royal family. On the left hand side, I think everybody knows them, right? Prince, and then the royal family in England. So the fascination of the British royal family brings millions of tourists to Great Britain every year. How much they can make? 550 pounds million. Because of that, people they go to England, they want to see the change of guard, they want to buy some souvenirs, you know, and then they want to experience the royal family life, you know, and then to buy this and that. So that is like a economy simply because of one family. Really cool, right? Another example is a Habsburg family that if you're into the Central Europe, like mentioned in Central Europe, this is a famous family. And this brand generate how much? 60 million euros per year for Vienna alone, simply because of one family. If you don't have a family, it can be just like I remember when I was in England, there are many tours. Like, oh, you can go to the Shakespeare's hometown. Because of Shakespeare alone, it's also like people, the tour that will take you to different places is all related to Shakespeare, just because one person. Really cool, right? Next, annual events. Of course, there are a lot of them, but I just take two. For example, the first one on the left-hand side is Dia de los Muertos, which is called the Day of the Dead. That is in Mexico. You know the movie, right? The movie also make it even more and more popular. So we can attract 1 million tourists for the parade and earn the Mexican economy more than 22 billion pesos, which equals to 1.25 billion euros, simply because of one event, which is called the Day of the Dead. This event is normally, if you are going, it's like Halloween. So normally it takes place later October to early November. And then there will be parade and party. Everybody like dress up, like wear like cool clothes. And then they believe that the deceased or your ancestors, they will come back and then they will see you. And then you just bring your wishes to let them know that you miss them. They are not forgotten. Remember the song? Remember Me, right? So that is about this event, which is also like a must do in your lifetime. And on the right hand side, this is a music concert called Tomorrowland. And during this time, during this event, normally it's in July, in like late July. This music festival was from year 2005 until now. So every year it attracts more than how many people? 12,000 people just to work, and then to track like more than 10,000 people, and then how much money? 100 million euros from this festival will feed directly back to the local economy. It's because of one event. Wow. So let's talk about World Tourism Statistics and Rankings. Alright, so now we want to learn from the successful example, right? We need to know the numbers, or we need to know which countries have done a really good job. So, world's top tourism destinations. The World Tourism Organization, remember WTO, reports the following destination as the most visited in terms of the number of international travelers in 2019. Okay, so think, what are these countries? America? Germany? Japan? Taiwan? Let's find out. Dun, 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 dun. Number 1, France. So, France, international tourists arrive how many? 20 million. Over 20 million people go to France. And over 83 million people, they will go to Spain. So that's number 2. And number 3, United States, 78 million. Let's just take a look of top 10. And number 4, China. So that is the number 1 in Asia. And number 5, Italy. Okay, we can pause here. Let's think of these countries. Do they have events? Yes. Ecotourism? Yes. Medical? Some yes, some not. But yeah, some countries, people they go there for the medical treatment. And religious? Yes, like Spain and France, there's a very popular thing to do is called Camino de Santiago. They walk like a pilgrimage from Spain to France or France to Spain. It's like, a typical example of like religious tourism. And then the food there, good. Accommodation, good. Transportation, no problem. Entertainment, a great variety. So these are the factors that make them successful. And then, of course, Turkey, Mexico, Thailand, Germany, United Kingdoms. These are like big tourism destination. It's very interesting that, okay, out of 10, how many are in Europe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are in Europe. So this also tells us that if you travel to, for example, if you travel to Spain, you want to go to the neighbor countries. So like France, right? Like Italy or Germany. They are not too far from each other. So people, they will do it together. So sometimes, for example, like Taiwan is an island, it makes it a little bit difficult for the people to, oh, I want to fly to Taiwan. Unless you have some specialties, but people, they will say, oh, I want to go to Taiwan alone. Wow. Some people, they will do it like a round trip, like they go to Hong Kong and then, okay, Taiwan and then Japan and Korea as like connected to each other. So that is another strength that these European countries, they have because of the location. All right. International tourism receipts. So the World Tourism Organization reports that international tourism receipts were 1.7 trillion in 2018, an increase in real terms of 4% over 2017. So the top 10 were, number 1, United States. Number 2, Spain. Number 3, France. Number 4, Thailand. Number 5, United Kingdom, right? They actually overlapped. And then Italy, Australia, Germany, Japan, China. These are big countries. Next, international tourism expenditure. What does that mean? So that is the countries as the top 10 biggest spenders on international tourism for the year 2018. That means people from this country, they spend the most money. So who is number 1? Who's the number 1? China. Yes, China. China is not a big country that people, they got tons of money to spend. So you can start thinking about what should you do because of that. Maybe you need the Chinese people who can speak Chinese as a tour guide, or in a museum you need someone who can speak Chinese, right? So number 1, China. Number 2, United States. Number 3, Germany. These are top 3. That means people from this country, they travel a lot and then they spend a lot of money. You need to figure out the way to get these people to go to your country because they love to spend money, which is good, right? So number 4, United Kingdom. Number 5, France. Number 6, Australia. Number 7, Russia. Number 8, Canada. Number 9, South Korea. Number 10, Italy. Next, Travel and Tourism Council. Countries showing strong international travel and tourism growth between 2010 to 2016. So who are the ones that grows fast? Number 1, Myanmar. Number 2, Sudan. Number 3, Azerbaijan. So these countries, probably the tourism there is not so mature, but these countries, they are growing fast. Maybe one day they are gonna become a very important country, or they really rely on tourism for their economy. So we're looking at these countries. Most of them are not as mature as countries like America or France or Italy. But we are looking at, oh, Iceland, number 9, is 20%. More and more people go to the country. Probably because of the movie, we don't know. But it's just a great country to visit. Okay. All right, the last concept I'm going to talk about is the global tourism market. So we need to know the new trends. It's always a good time to take a deep breath and kind of like see the changes that has occurred. So the first one, we know that political changes have occurred throughout Latin America, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. So these countries, they just come through some changes. It can be political, like what's happening in Hong Kong or Belarus. Then we need to know what's happening in the world. And then scientists now are seeking new forms of renewable and non-polluting forms of energy. So we all know that, like for example, like U.S., like United States is a world's top energy producer, and I mean, with the pressure on fossil fuels, scientists are seeking new forms of the energy, right? So these changes not only affect the the energy the market, but also you need to figure out like not only more energy efficient, but also you need to. I mean, many countries they have faced a problem of over tourism. So for example, like Spain, people they kind of like a protest. They say no, we don't want so many tourists coming to our country. It's too crazy. Or people in Italy they say no, too many tourists. It's too many. So it's over tourism. That's also another new word, right? Like too many people. They are not sure if the environment can handle it. So the global tourism industry has faced this problem, and then we just have to figure out. For example, like the Philippines, they closed the island Boracay. They closed the island, and then trying to get less hotels, and then people going to the island. It's not you want to go, you can go. No, they want to limit to a certain amount. They don't want too many people. Some countries they will say, okay, if you want to come here, you need to pay the tax. That is also another solution for stopping people, too many people to your country. So you just have to think about it. You have to think about if your country can handle it. Last, no industry, nation, or economy will be an island unto excel. That means the world is flat. You need to know that you are not an island, and then you have to work together with other countries, and that would be better for in the long term. So now I have listed some new trends and also the ideas to give you some ideas to think about. So first, you have to understand that we no longer live in a one country world, right? So no matter in which nation you may be living, the local market will not be enough to sustain your growth. Even small towns will find it necessary to become part of the global market. That means the local banks will be necessary as places to change currency. Restaurants will need to offer menus in various languages or with a picture. Traffic and road signs will need to be internationalized, and police department will need to learn how to deal with a myriad of cultures and languages. So my question is, are you ready? Are you ready to handle this? There are places where people can change their currency. If people go to a restaurant, do they understand? Are there menus in various languages? Or is there any public transport that people can take? Or the road signs, do people get lost? These are all the things that you need to think about. And if you want to be a big country, like mature country, like the ones we mentioned earlier, these are things that we must do. Next, think in both the micro and the macro. For example, as fuel prices continue to fluctuate, ask yourself how these changes will impact your part of the tourism industry. So creative thinking will be necessary as not every community can produce an instant public transportation system. So you have to think small as well as big. You need to focus on details, but you need to have a big picture of what you're going to do. Because too often tourism industries suffer because they spend so much time on catching the big fish that they lose the small one. So you just have to think about the details as well as the big picture. Next, look at all forms of economic trends. So it is essential for tourism professionals to integrate macro trends into their business plan. For example, how will new car sales impact your tourism industry? How will aging populations in developed countries impact tourism? What environmental factors such as red tides can change the nature of your products? Okay, we'll talk about red tides later. And which nations have expanding economics and where are the economics contracting? All these are essential questions that you need to be updated on a regular basis. So you need to learn these from, you need to read a lot of news or on internet. You need to know what is the economic trends. For example, we talk about red tides. This is red tide. It's kind of like a you can see from the last pictures, it's in California. And then it's not just red in color, it can be green, it can be brown. And then it's because of the algae that bloom. And that is not natural. And then that can cause the damage from, you can see from the left hand side, toxic algae in Florida, spark health warnings, and then the red tides also affect the marine life, for example, like the sea turtles. It causes a lot of problems. It's not all the algae are toxic. Some are toxic, some are not. But that is a thing called red tides. And that is a very serious problem right now in California and also some countries. All right, next. Learn to watch trends and then incorporate them into your business model. So travel and tourism, for the most part, are expandable products. That means that it behooves and professionals to watch cost of credit, to understand how the foreign exchange markets work, and where unemployment is headed in your major market. So in today's interconnected world, news sources are essential. Do not remember this. Do not base your analysis on any one media outlet. You don't get the news from one media. You need to get the news from different medias, from different perspectives in order to have a clear picture. Okay, for example, like COVID-19, you need to know the impact. We will have another course, another 3-hour course to talk about the impact or to our new economy, to airline, to everything because of this virus. Be flexible. This is very important because what was or has always been may not be the same in the future. So, so you know, like if your tourism industry or business traditionally drew from places X, and that locale is expected to go through a major economic turndown, be prepared to switch market or products rapidly. You need to change before it is too late. I will show you the example. Kodak. You all know Kodak, right? Cameras. And then they tried to change it into like a digital camera, but it wasn't that successful. But have you watched the news? They are now very successful because they are now, what do? They make medicines. And they make medicine, and that is very, very successful. So they change from making cameras to making medicines. Another good example is Taiwan. So this company, they make salt. Taiwan, we used to make a lot of salt, but not anymore. Now we all export from Southeast Asia or Australia. So the industry is dying. Do you want this industry to die? No. So they change before it's too late. So now you can see they make the mineral water, which is great, which is my favorite mineral water brand. They make some medicines. They also have a tourism factory that people can go take cool photos, and like a family go there and have fun to get to know salt and to have a good time there. They make the toothpaste with the salt. They make the laundry like detergent. Also, they make some cosmetics and lotions using salt. So they make a lot of different things in order to survive. And so far, they have done a really, really good job before. So that is be flexible. You don't subject to just making salt. You can do different things, but it's like using your present technology or resources and then to make different things. And by doing so, they make a lot more money. So look at successful models around the world. You have to seek out and communicate with colleagues from different parts of the world and look at their best practices. Where have they succeeded and failed? Think how you may be able to adapt or modify other people's ideas. You have to ask yourself some questions such as, oh, is my business model flexible enough to withstand a rapid change? Or, oh, how stable is my current supply chain? For example, if you are a hotel and a blanket factory goes bankrupt, are there other sources available? So you have to look at the successful models around the world and adapt your marketing efforts to a globalized industry. I keep trying to mention globalize. So tourism and travel professionals may need to consider like major overhauls of the world market advertising. So like magazines and local television ads may need to be replaced with more like like innovative web strategies or the websites. You need to attract more people from all over the world, so you have to think about the website, how does that work, because that is the easiest way to get in touch, that people can get in touch to your country. So you are not just compare with your neighbors. No matter where you are located, you community and or business will be judged on a community or business. That's it. So here are some references. I have just to take some references from some websites, from some news, especially from Wikipedia. I have to say thank you to this document that to make this lecture possible. And first of all, and most important of all, is thank you for doing this course. I hope you learned something from this course and will be able to utilize this in your country and make it to stimulate your economy. And I hope you learned something back. I'll see you next time. Bye.